One of the questions I get asked all the time about freeze drying is how much it costs to run in electricity. So let's take a look at that. Freeze drying has a lot of benefits, and cost savings can be one of them. When you can take great deals from the farmer's market or turn your garden produce into food that is shelf stable, holding a ton of its nutrition, and will sit on your shelf for years to come, it can be a really great way to save money on groceries in the seasons when that food is not available, and at least not so cheaply available. It's also a great way to save money over buying pre-freeze-dried food. It's estimated that in general, it's less than 1/10 of the cost to freeze-dry your own food than it is to purchase freeze-dried food. But none of that is actually answering the question, how much does it cost in electricity usage to freeze dry a load of food in your machine? At the time I'm making this video, energy costs across the United States vary from about 9 cents per kilowatt hour all the way up to 45 cents per kilowatt hour. Those kilowatt hours add up quickly, so that can be a really big difference. It also depends on what you're freeze drying and how much moisture it is and how long your machine has to run. Now, your average batch runs maybe about 24 hours, but your max batch could go up to about 40 hours, and that is a huge difference. So let's assume kind of average electricity costs. Say that we're working with about 16 cents per kilowatt hour, but we're going to go with the longest possible batch cycle. If we're running a large harvest right machine under that example, I would expect to spend about $9.30 per batch in electricity costs alone. That sounds like a lot of money, but that is kind of misleading because we can fit a lot of food into that freeze dryer. So let's talk about the cost per pound to freeze dry that food and how that compares to other preservation methods. So you can see that I have this chart here that is very scientific and goes into all the different details. I actually had a friend who's a mechanical engineer help me with this chart and help me put it together because I've been really curious about this for years. So thanks, Charlie. When you look at the far left row, you'll notice that when we're talking about a dehydrator, a large Excalibur dehydrator, it's going to cost you about 4 cents of electricity cost per pound of food. If we're running an all-American pressure canner with an electric stove, we're talking about 7 cents per pound of food. If we're using propane, and that we're dealing with all averages at the time that we're doing this video. So the average propane cost across the United States and the average runtime in a pressure canner, all of the averages we can find, and we tried to make them as equal as possible. So we were really trying to compare apples to apples here, or canned chicken to dehydrated chicken. That is going to cost you about 8 cents per pound of food. If you're using a freezer, and you're freezing your food, it's going to cost you about 16 cents to freeze your food for a year. So this is all based on a year storage. So you're probably not going to freeze your pound of chicken per year, but it does give you something to go off of. An extra large freeze dryer costs about 17 cents per pound. That is not a lot of money in order to store something that can store on your shelf for extended periods of time. The large freeze dryer is going to cost you about 33 cents per pound of food in order to freeze dry it in electricity, and so forth. So you can see definitely the larger the freeze dryer, the more efficient it is per pound. But 17 cents per pound of food stored on your shelf is not a bad cost, especially if you're pulling that food out of your garden and the food is relatively free or cheap because you're getting it in bulk at the farmer's market in season at any time. It's actually a really good deal. Remember that these are all the upper ends of the averages when it comes to the freeze drying. That's assuming a 40-hour load. Almost every one of my loads runs for about 20 to 30 hours. But there's some tricks that I take to make sure that I keep my batch time very low and make sure that I'm keeping my electrical use very efficient. So let's talk about those things. Trick number one is to make sure you're running your freeze dryer in a climate controlled or cool room. You do not want to run your freeze dryer in a hot room or a warm room, really anything in the 70s or above. It is going to make your freeze dryer work extra hard, and it's going to make the batch time excessively long. It's really gonna cost you a lot of electricity. You're gonna be better to cool a room or to get some fans on that freeze dryer to keep it a little bit cooler. Make sure that your freeze dryer is pulled away from walls to give it plenty of circulation space for that hot air that's coming out of it. Try to keep it cool so that you can be much more energy efficient and have much shorter batch times. The other thing that I always do to keep most energy efficient on my freeze dryer is to pre-freeze my food in a regular freezer for at least 48 hours. This ensures that the food is completely frozen so that when it goes into the freeze dryer, your freeze dryer doesn't have to work as hard to freeze the food. It also won't have to work as hard to keep the food frozen because you'll already have it down, ideally to sub-zero temperatures all the way through it. So that's really going to reduce the electricity use in your freeze dryer, and you probably already have your freezer running anyways. So if you have any room in there at all, make sure you take the time to pre-freeze your trays of food before you put them into the freeze dryer. The last tip for being really efficient with your energy when it comes to freeze drying is don't let your machine run on extra dry time after a batch finishes for any longer than necessary. Now, some foods do need a little bit of extra dry time, especially anything with seeds in them, like tomatoes. Those tomatoes can lock in a little extra moisture, and a few extra hours of dry time can really help to make sure that your food is completely done before you get it in storage. But aside from that, make sure you are getting to your machine as soon as it indicates that your food is dry, testing that food to ensure that it's dry, and then packaging it and getting it on the shelf. Every hour that your machine sits on in the extra dry time mode, waiting for you to come and remove the food, is an hour of electricity that you've spent in order to let your food just sit there for your convenience. So make sure you get to your machine pretty quickly. Hey, if you want to learn more about freeze drying and what it can do for you, check out this video right over here.